Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Yes, even those of you who took the time to comment and insulted me and told me to stop telling you to have a fantastic day, I'm going to wish you a fantastic day as well. But we're going to dig in a little bit of follow up on the Dearica Hamby lawsuit filed against the Las Vegas Aces and the WNBA. I have to tell you, this does not look good for the WNBA. And I get that the lawsuit, obviously, we're seeing it from one side. However, there are some definite red flags. There's also some really admission of quote unquote guilt, for a lack of better word, in a previous investigation already about this, not to mention a pattern of behavior that we're going to see as well. We talked about the WNBA and the Caitlin Clark treatment. I mentioned Candace Wiggins in a previous video. We also have Skylar Diggins-Smith, which, if you're not familiar with that, I will show you as well. And I'm sort of getting now why the WNBA is freaked out about all this attention and all these new fans and all these new eyeballs on the league, because the way it's been run, and it looks like a lot of the stuff that goes on in the WNBA, they did not want that seen. They could get away with it because no one was paying attention, and now people are, to the point where this looks like it's going to go beyond just the new fans of the WNBA, which is a bigger audience, but this is going to go mainstream in our culture in terms of everyone being aware of this lawsuit and what's been going on with the WNBA and how they've treated certain players. So I have the lawsuit up, but that's a whole lot of legalese. I do want to show you one thing in it, but this article does a pretty good job of being specific with the main points of the lawsuit that we're going to talk about and some things and how that connects to some other issues that the league has. It's an 18-page filing that claims repeated acts of intimidation, discrimination, and retaliation toward Hamby. That is not good. And then Hamby was traded to the Sparks in January 2023. She just recently won the bronze medal in the 3v3 um, event in the Olympics. So, that is a long picture. The suit alleges that the team wouldn't pay private school tuition for her daughter that was agreed upon in the contract extension, and that she was forced to leave team housing without being given a reason, despite an agreement that she would be allowed to utilize it. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting because, to me, now, in looking at the lawsuit, there are some things that it talks about with phone conversations. So that's very much a proverbial he said, she said. I don't know how much they're going to get out of that. However, this part, for example, seems pretty clear cut. If it is in Hamby's contract that the Aces would pay private school tuition for her daughter, and then they stopped paying it, which by the lawsuit, I believe they stopped doing I think they stopped for the new year in like September or something, and that Hamby had asked about it a couple times, and the Aces management said they were working on it and they were figuring it out, and they never did pay it. So that seems really clear cut. If that is actually in Hamby's contract, that's very easy to see when the Aces stop paying. Because obviously, in fall of 2022, Hamby's under contract with the Las Vegas Aces because she just signed a 2-year extension in May of the same year. So that does not look good. That does not look good for the Las Vegas Aces. Um, the lawsuit details the timeline of the events that led to the discrimination, alleged discrimination from when she signed her contract in May of 22. She says she first found out she was pregnant on or about July 18. I believe it was confirmed in early August when she went to her doctor. In the lawsuit, I think it was August 6th that she went to her doctor, and August 8th she notified the team. Other details include specific conversations Hamby says she had with Aces head coach Becky Hammon, who was alleged to have told the WNBA forward that she was not taking proper precautions not to get pregnant. She later questioned Hamby's commitment and dedication to the team. During that same conversation, Hamby says she asked Hammond twice, "You're trading me because I'm pregnant?" And Hammond is alleged to have replied, "What do you want me to do?" Now, here's the really interesting thing, which we didn't talk about last time, which I had discovered. And this is why those are some of the he said, she said. However, to counterbalance that, to counteract that, Hammond was actually found to have violated the WNBA's respect in the workplace policies following a league investigation. She was suspended without pay for 2 games. I believe the first 2 games of 20, I don't know if they were the first two, but she was suspended for them before the season started. I don't know if they let the Aces choose the games, but I believe it was the first two. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And they took away the Aces' first round pick in 2025 for impermissible benefits related to Hamby's deal. I don't know the specifics of that. This is a guess. I'm guessing. Maybe it had to do with the tuition deal because I saw something where the tuition deal was like the Chamber of Commerce and the extra money they wanted to give players that we found out about. It seems similar to that. It wasn't actually part of her compensation, I guess, because they have limits on max contracts and all of that. So they may have been finding a way around that. And that's why, because of this investigation, it led to that being a problem as well. So interesting, the league pushes back that despite the punishment, the lawsuit pushes back, sorry, the league took no steps to correct or address a clear cut violation. And then Hamby was traded on January 21 of 2023. She filed a complaint in September 23, and they gave her a notice of right to sue in May. Now, what's really interesting, like I said, that adds a lot of validity to this is that the league did an investigation and they punished the Las Vegas Aces. So I think that should carry some weight with this lawsuit as well. Couple of things I did want to mention to follow up on the article from the actual filing itself. That because I found that it's interesting right here. I found this really interesting that the defendant WNBA provided no meaningful redress to plaintiff Hamby for the harm she suffered as the victim of the violations found by the WNBA, such as disapproving her trade to the Los Angeles Sparks. Now, this, though it was empowered to do so, that's interesting. Now you could get into the whole thing like, why would Hamby want to be there with Las Vegas and all that? But it's interesting that that was something that the WNBA could do. The defendant, the WNBA, took no steps to correct or address a clear-cut violation of Hamby's rights under federal and state anti-discrimination law. The WNBA did not interview any Las Vegas Aces players in connection with its 2023 investigation of the Las Vegas Aces and head coach Hammond. Had players been interviewed, they could have corroborated key conversations between Hamby and the Aces and other relevant facts. So I find that really, really interesting. I'm not sure what they would have gotten, but if they are now going to question and depose players, that could get really interesting, which is why I'm going to play you this clip. This is getting new life, actually, obviously, and you'll see fresh comments. But this was back in May of 2023, where Hammond is going to, right before her suspension, she's going to serve, and these players, to me, do not sound like they're on Hamby's side, which leads more into the whole, the bullying behavior and so forth against Hamby from the Las Vegas Aces.
And I will say, it is one of the things that it's amazing when verdicts come back and no one is happy. And I think that just shows a poor level of leadership and a poor process on the investigation.
My biggest thing is make sure that this does not become a distraction, because at the end of the day, we're going to be we're for Becky. We're for anyone. Like, that's for us. Well, we're going to play for her no matter what. It's going to be tough to be without her, of course, those couple of games. But we still have to go out there and be us through and through and continue to make sure that we put the correct product out there, because that's what people want to see.
Okay, so you're for Becky. Becky has been found to do some nasty things and was suspended because of it. But you're for Becky and you have nothing to say in defense of your teammate at all. And you're going to miss her. It's 2 games.
And that's pretty much my take on it.
It doesn't matter. Anytime your name's on the scroll or anytime you see your name, anything could pop up. I think all of us have been there. I mean, it sucks. So I think it's just showing support. And, I know a number of us players have reached out and just been like, we love you, we care about you, and, we're going to represent you in the best way that we can.
Wow. So as you can see, the players were not exactly on Hamby's side. Hey, does anybody else get annoyed by Kelsey Plum's voice? It sounds like Brianna Stewart, which doesn't sound like their natural voices at all, that they're trying to kind of portray some type of image in how they speak, which is a real turnoff. But anyway, but as you can see, they're very much behind their coach, who was found to do some bad things. And they have no sympathy whatsoever for their teammate and what she went through. I think that's pretty interesting. And that brings me to the next thing, pattern of behavior. Pattern of behavior. Skylar Diggins-Smith says Mercury are denying her benefits. This is back in August of 2023, where Phoenix Mercury guard Skylar Diggins-Smith alleged on social media that she was not allowed to use the team's facilities while on maternity leave. She replied to someone on X who expressed disappointment that the team did not wish her a happy birthday. They're not going to acknowledge me this year, and it's okay, guys. We're not affiliated unless it's the checks. Per management. I can't even use the practice facility or any resources, which is what they did to Hamby as well. They questioned her commitment to the team and to be ready for the next season. I'm talking about the Aces and Hamby now, but they were denying her use of facilities. That is amazing and not in a good way. Later, she would post she did not have the same access to team facilities like a massage therapist, strength and conditioning, or team chefs that other players are allowed to use. Now, when asked about it on August 3rd, ahead of their game against the Atlanta Dream, Mercury interim head coach Nikki Blue told ESPN, Skylar is on maternity leave right now, and as we do with players on maternity leave, we give them space. Now, again, I would go back to this whole idea that everyone involved in the WNBA needs serious media and PR training. That is not a good answer. That is not a good answer. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but if I'm Hamby's lawyer, I'm using this case. I'm talking to Skylar Diggins-Smith. I'm talking to Nikki Blue, and I'm bringing up this quote as well, because that is not a good answer. We give them she's basically admitting, yeah, we've shunned her. We're not giving her access to team facilities or anything like that. That's what we give them their space means. She thought that was a creative answer that would keep her out of trouble. And then when asked about if the allegations were true, she completely deflected, ignored the question, and says, what I'm really excited about is just tonight, like, we're focused. Want to go out there and have a good game against Atlanta. The Mercury have not commented on her allegations at all. And of course, then this runs into the Hamby thing, because we know that was actually in 2022. She got traded in 2023. By the time this is out, you had already had the punishment with Becky Hammond and so forth. So yeah, so this is getting interesting. Now this is from Hamby back at the time. I was accused of signing my extension knowingly pregnant. This is false. And it would be false, right? If the kid was born March 6th of 2023, she signed the extension in May of 2022. It absolutely is false. So see, there's another thing that's provable. I was told that I was a question mark, and it was said that I would get pregnant again, and there was a concern for my level of commitment to the team. I was told that I didn't hold up my end of the bargain because no one expected me to get pregnant in the next 2 years. Asked about pregnancy, Sue Bird at the time said she was retired. Obviously, we've seen it's put this, I was going to say pressure. Don't even know if that's the right word, but it's made teams almost like pissy that they have to spend their money on the player and they don't get their money back on their cap. Well, wow. So I'm going to leave it there. This is crazy. I'm sure the WNBA will come out with stuff, but there are definitely fires here. There's patterns of behavior when you've got Skylar Diggins-Smith talking about this and Hamby talking about it, and Candace Wiggins, although a separate issue, also just talking about the same atmosphere of the league with the discrimination and the intimidation and the bullying. Obviously, we've seen what's gone on with Caitlin Clark and how she's been treated by the WNBA and other players. And I'm not even saying that there's anything illegal in that. It's just awful and nasty. But that's what was going on with Hamby. Awful and nasty. It just happened to be on a topic that may have some legality issues for the WNBA, the league of girl power. Uh, you know, they don't seem to be all that interested in the power of girls. But I can see why they don't want attention because things come to light when you're doing nasty stuff and you get more attention. But yeah, this does not look good at all for the WNBA. But like I said, all we have are the allegations at this point. Although, again, before I let you go, I will emphasize the league investigated the Aces and found problems, which is why Hammond got suspended. I mean, you can say, yeah, it was a slap on the wrist. It wasn't much, but it is something this lawsuit can point to and saying, look, we all know there's something there because the Aces have been punished by the league for their behavior toward Dearica Hamby. So, well, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is going to, I mean, lawsuits can take a long time. I know. Will the WNBA settle? Could they settle out of court without any admission of guilt? We know how those things go. Are more things going to start popping up? Is this going to endanger the TV rights deal? I know it wouldn't for a huge league like the NBA or the NFL, but we're talking about the WNBA, all driven by Caitlin Clark. There could be some issues there. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for checking out this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.